This is going to be the third lesson in the Autodesk Inventor solid modeling exercises for grade 12. We're going to be looking at the sweep 3D model today. And the reason I call it a sweep is because I didn't know what else to call it, because there's no name on the image that I can use. So I called it sweep because that is the main extrusion feature that we have to use to be able to create this on a curve here. So what we're going to be doing is starting by creating the base. I'm not even really going to read these instructions. I'm just going to show you because these instructions aren't very good. I wrote them, but my video will be much more clear on how to do this. We do need to know that we're on a 45-degree angle here. Now, this looks to me like this comes from the bottom. There's a center line running on the very bottom of the base, and the 45 degrees is running all the way basically to the top surface of this. That's the way it looks to me from what I can see here. Right, this center line here runs right on top of that slot that's cut away, and it's right in line with that top surface. We know that the base is 3.75 square as well, and we know that the base thickness is 0.5, right? That could be a little difficult to see because this is shown as cast iron, so they're trying to show the texture on this, which, doesn't blend well to some of these dimensions like this 4.88R radius. But let's get started. So we're going to go to New. We're going to go into Templates, English, Standard Inch, IPT, Create. 2D Sketch. I'm selecting the XZ plane because I'm building this from the very bottom surface upward. So we're going to draw a rectangle, fairly large. We're going to dimension it from here to the origin. This is going to be 3.75 divided by 2 because we're coming off 0, 0. So we're doing the same thing on this side. And from here, that's going to get x0, y0. Whoops, I forgot to go divided by 2. All right, that's going to put x0, y0 right in the middle. Finish sketch. We're extruding up to 0.5. Okay. Now this is the easy part right here, just building the base, right? So we're going to be having a circle, and this circle here is a diameter of 0.38. All right. So from dimensioning this here, from here to here, we know that in a bracket that it's 3.75 long. We have to subtract the 2.62, and what is left must be divided by 2 over 2 sides. That's going to give us 0.565. So we're just going to go around and do that. Okay, so this should over-constrain at 2.62. Yeah, so this is fine. We're also going to put the core hole in at the same time. This core is 1.62, check mark. Hit finish sketch, and we're going to extrude all of these at one time. Select the profiles and cut. This is all. Okay. And at this point, we can also add the fillets. So the fillets are listed as 0.56. Like that, and hit OK. All right, so far so good. All right, so what we're going to do now is create a work plane and get it into the middle of that core hole. So we're going to select plane, push on this edge or face that way. This is going to be minus, because we're working towards the negative value, 3.75 divided by 2. I was going to put that in the middle. So we can look at this from the front. All right. So now we're going to create a sketch on work plane number 1. So I'm working on the plane, right, not on this face. And we're going to draw some construction lines. So I'm going to draw, to grab a construction line, it's on format, so where it says construction, I'm going to push that, grab my line, and come down to this endpoint and draw a line horizontally from the bottom. It doesn't really matter how long it is. But it should be purple because it's constrained already to this point at the bottom. And what we're going to do now is create a line somewhere vertically out here. And we're going to draw it up, and it's also a construction line. So this line won't be purple, it'll be yellow because it's not constrained. And we're also going to have to draw a line here at the top of the base in the center. And again, it can be as high as this one if you want. So I'll just make that, we're just going to make this a vertical constraint. Just by touching the top of that line, making sure that it's straight, like this, and clicking. All right. So we also have to draw a line Well, actually, what we have to do is create a dimension from here to here. And this has to be the origin of the 4.88 radius. So we're going to type 4.88, and that's going to bring this line over and constrain it, right? Because this is going to be the, right here is going to be, this point will be the origin of the 4.88 radius as well as the 45-degree angle. So I'm going to grab another line. I'm going to go from this endpoint, and I'm going to draw a line on an angle up like this. Right click, left click, OK. And I'm going to hit dimension, and we're going to create a dimension of 45 degrees. Like that. All right. At the same starting point, no longer a construction line. So I'm going to be taking the construction line off now. And I'm going to grab circle, and draw a circle at that same endpoint. And we're going to create a general dimension. This needs to be diameter, right? So it has to be 4.88, which is the radius, and we're using Shift 8 to get a star and 2, because we have to multiply it by 2 to get the diameter. Then we'll hit check mark, and then look what happens. So that's going to land the edge right here. And what we're going to do now is trim this up. But before I do that, what I need to do is I need to actually add another construction line here. We need to actually extend this a bit. And you're going to see why at the very, very end, if it's not clear to you. So we're going to go construction line again, grab a line, and we're going to draw a line like this. Doesn't even need to be perfect, but we need to make it parallel to this one. So we're going to select a parallel constraint, select this construction line and this one, and this will force this to be parallel with the one I've constrained to 45 degrees. And what we're going to do is run a dimension from here to here, and this is going to be edited to be 0.5, like this. All right, so we're keeping an extra ½ an inch on this curve here. So what we're going to do now is trim it, and this is what we're left with, a constrained curve on the correct arc of 4.8 on an angle of 45 degrees, and we're also adding an extra ½ an inch of the curve here as well, right? Because we're not going all the way to the bottom here, right? I'm starting up here at the top of the base. All right, so we're going to finish that sketch. So that sketch is finished. What we're going to do now is create a new sketch on this face, and we're going to use our circle, X, Y, 0, and we're going to draw a circle to the core value again. So the core value is 1.62. So that will constrain it perfectly to the existing core hole. We're also going to have another one at X, Y, 0. And this one here, we don't have the diameter given, but it tells us here the thickness of that wall. There's a little dimension arrow here, and here it says that wall thickness is 0.38. So it's got to be done over two sides because this is cylindrical. So we know that we're going to have 1.62, which is the core, plus, in a bracket, 0.38 multiplied by 2, end bracket. So we're multiplying this first and adding it to the core, check mark, that's going to give us a diameter of 2.38. And we're going to finish the sketch. Now watch how this works. We've got two sketches now, sketch 3 and sketch 4, and they're intersecting each other. So that's how the sweep works. So up here in the part feature, we have the sweep. Select it. We got to select the path. So this line here, so we got the profile. Okay, we'll do the profile first. Sorry. So this is the profile. It's already pushed down. Select profile. So this is the profile. And then we select the path. This is the path. And look what it does. It gives me a preview of how it's going to extrude it. And then I just have to hit OK. And I've created that sweep. So it requires two sketches to be able to complete this. Now at this stage, we can create the bolted flange that sits at the top, that has the slots in it. So we're going to start a 2D sketch on this face. And we're going to draw a circle. We're going to pick up x, y, 0, 0, and create another hole. And this is the core value again, 1.62. And then we're going to create another circle. And it is showing to be a diameter of 3.88 as the most greatest outside diameter. Finish sketch, extrude. There's our profile, and it has to be extruded 0.5, like this. All right. We're getting there. So what's left? We have to put the slots in. Of course, I'm not going to be drawing every single slot. So I'm going to create a 2D sketch on this surface, this face, and I'm going to create a construction circle instead of a construction line like I showed you earlier. So we're going to pick construction, and then we're going to go circle. We're going to pick up 0, 0 again, x, y, 0, 0. And this is going to be dimensioned to 3.38. Okay. Now, take construction off, pick circle, and we're coming down on and finding this intersection here, y0, and where this snap picks up where the construction line meets the y-axis. And we're going to create a circle, and it's dimensioned as 0.38, like that. Then we're going to use our line tool, find this intersection right here, and draw a line vertically down. Like that. And we're going to do the same thing on this other side. All right, what we're also going to do is create another 3.88 diameter circle. 3.88. All right. And then we're going to be able to trim this. So we're going to have to trim here and here. And we're also going to run a dimension from here to here, so that will actually constrain. And we're going to trim this part of the radius arc away. And then we're going to trim most of this 3.88 circle that I just had created. And this, we can just add another dimension here, and that's going to take care of that. So what we're going to do now is extrude this the other way and hit OK. All right, so there's our slot. Now what we want to do, I could have done them all at once, but why am I going to bother when I could just create a circular pattern for this? So I'm going to go to circular. The feature is extrusion 4. select it. The rotation axis is right here, anywhere on this 360-degree flange. It's previewing 6 on 360 degrees. I want there to be 4 equally spaced on the same angle, and I'm going to hit OK. And that will create all the other ones very, very easily. Pretty good. Now, all we have left to do is some fillets, but we'll change the material property first. So this has to be cast iron. So I'm going to go up, select iron cast, change it all at once, and I'm going to be selecting certain surfaces to be machined. So this face will couple to something, so that needs to be machined. And it's also shown as white on the sheet, which also indicates that. So I'm going to select it, and I'm also going to hold Control and select some of these other surfaces in these slots that I can see. And then I'm going to go to free orbit, turn it to this side. Oh, I let go of it. I let go of it by accident, so I'm starting again. So you can let go of Control while you're free orbiting, but when you right-click, left-click OK, hold Control again, and then you'll be able to keep selecting these surfaces. So right-click, left-click OK, hold Control, and this is how you do it. And if you go to pick something without holding Control, it's just going to deselect them all. All right, making sure I have everything here. All right, and also, I'm going to assume that this base is also going to be machined, so it can bolt to something. All right, now that I have all that selected, right-click, left-click, OK. I'm going to go up to where it's iron cast, and I'm going to change this to machined 2. Those slots definitely have to be machined, and this face needs to be milled off. And it shows that the interior of this is cast with a rough texture. And also, these holes here, we can make them machined 2 as well, but we'll make them machined 3, which is basically a crappy drilled hole. So we'll go back up here and hit machined 3. And it shows a crummy drill. Like basically a drilled hole looks round, but it's really not. It's a terrible hole, especially in metal. Drilled holes are not nice. They're not smooth. And that's what machined 3 is showing here. They look round, but they truly are not. Okay, so this looks good. I'm going to hide the plane. Right-click, left-click, visibility off. And I'm going to add the fillets. So the fillets are shown as 0.12. And we're going to select here and up here. Wherever cast meets cast must be filleted. Nothing is cast perfect. There's always a fillet. Now there will be nothing on the bottom because that's machined. So all these cast surfaces meet others through edges here. And then there's also going to be one here, here, here. There, looks like I got them all. And then we're going to hit OK, right-click, left-click, OK, and hit OK, and we've created all those fillets. And that is the complete modeling of the sweep. Quite a few steps, but again, this is an advanced level modeling procedure, right? Being able to, interpret the drawing, creating the sweep. Okay, so we did establish earlier that this center line travels on the bottom of the base comes from a center point origin for a radius of 4.88, and it looks like the center line travels and hits right in line with the top surface of that face that's machined to, on top of those slots. Of course, this is only cut to show you the inside of this. So let's prove that. So let's go to File, Save As. I'm going to save this. I'm going to call it Sweep. And hit Save. And now I'm going to just go into a drawing file just to show you. So let's go to File, New, and hit ANSI Inch IDW. Now, I'm not going into a drawing lesson right now. I just want to quickly show you something. So we're going to go Base View. So I'm just going to create the front view and hit OK. All right, so let's run a dimension. Annotate, dimension. Let's pick the bottom and this face, and look at my angle. So that is 45 degrees. So this is the way that I interpret it, and to me this is correct. To me. I don't know how you see it, but this is the dimension I really should have based on what I'm seeing here. And that concludes my lesson on how to model this complicated little slice of heaven here. So I'm going to be ending the lesson now. Try to do this. I'm sure you'll do just fine based on my video lesson. And then now that we've completed the modeling of these three part features, the next lesson will begin to get into the dimensioning and detailing of them. So until that time, take care, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.